Hey everyone, welcome to music. So today we're going to be learning how to play the ukulele, which is, if you remember back in June we did a video on guitar. So in a lot of ways it's very similar. It has a lot of the same parts. So just as a refresher, this part down here is called the body. This is the neck and this is the head. On the head you have the tuning pegs, which are these little metal things, and they're attached to the strings and they change how tight they are, which makes the pitch higher or lower. And so then the strings go down and are attached down here at the bridge. And all along the neck of the guitar you have these little lines and spaces, and the spaces are called frets. So you number them from the top to the bottom. So you have the first fret, second fret, third fret, and so on. And the strings are numbered from the bottom to the top, same as on a guitar. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's one of the big differences between ukulele and guitar, is not only the size, but the number of strings. If you remember, a guitar has 6, and then a ukulele only has 4. So on a ukulele, the strings are G, C, E, and A. So I'm going to teach you guys how to play the song Blessed Be Your Name. And that song only has 4 chords in it, and they repeat in the same pattern for the whole song. So it's really easy to learn if you're first starting off. But before we get into teaching the song, I just want to go over the chords. And I want to teach you guys how to read a chord diagram. So that's, if you've ever seen it, it looks like this, and you've got kind of a grid with dots on it. So the best way to think about that is, if you hold your ukulele upright like this, you'll see you have the strings going down and then the frets going across this way. So these lines going down represent the strings, and the one on the far right represents the bottom string, the first string. And so then this is the second string, third string, and fourth string. And the frets are also these spaces in between the lines, just like on here. And it's not gonna have the whole fretboard because you don't really use the bottom as much. So it's usually just gonna show like the first 4 frets. So it'll be kind of like, if you take this section right here, that's basically what this is showing you. And it has dots on here to show where you wanna place your fingers. So the first chord we're gonna learn is C. And if you can see on here, it has just 1 dot, which means you're only going to use 1 finger, and it's going to go on the first string and the 3rd fret. So that's going to mean first string, this one right here, and 1, 2, 3, 3rd fret. So it's going to go right here. And you're usually going to want to use your 3rd finger for that. And I forgot to number the fingers, but those are 1, 2, 3, and 4. You don't count your thumb because that's going to go on the back of the ukulele and kind of help to hold and like support it. So you're going to take your 3rd finger and put it right here. And then you're going to strum. And when you strum, you want to make sure that you hit all 4 strings so that you get all of the notes in the chord that you want to hear. And you also just want to make sure whenever you're fingering a chord that you press down the string all the way, because if you only do it just like part of the way, or if you just have your fingers like kind of touching the strings, see, that doesn't, it doesn't sound right. And actually that's called muting the strings, when you just kind of touch it and it makes it so that it doesn't produce the note that you want to make. So it's helpful sometimes if you just want to, like, people will sometimes do that during a breakdown. They'll kind of play and just kind of use it as like, it'll sound kind of like drums or some kind of like percussion. But that's not what we're going for right now. So you always want to make sure that you're pressing down the string all the way and not touching any of the other ones, because then you'd be muting them. So that's C. And then the second chord in the progression is going to be G. So that one's a little bit harder. You're going to want to start with your first finger and put it on the 3rd fret, no, 3rd string in the 2nd fret. So it's going to go right here, which, as you can see, that lines up with this dot, like that. And then you're going to take your 2nd finger and put it on the 1st string, but also in the 2nd fret. So it'll be just kind of right below the 1st finger. and then you're gonna take your third finger and you're gonna put it on the second string in the third fret. So it'll end up looking like this. And it sounds like that. So you're gonna wanna just practice going back and forth between these two chords. Those are like two of the most common chords that you're gonna run into in a lot of songs. So you really do wanna just practice switching back and forth so that you can get comfortable with the transition and it'll sound really smooth. So the third chord I wanna teach you guys is A minor, which is another one that's just gonna take one finger, and you're gonna use your second finger. So this one right here. And you're gonna put it on the top string, the fourth string, in the second fret, right here. And that's what that sounds like. So again, you wanna practice kind of going through and switching between all of these, just to really get comfortable with how your fingers need to move. And the last chord I'm gonna teach you guys is F, which is actually, if you've learned A minor, it's a really natural transition from there, because you're gonna go, you're gonna keep your second finger on like where it is, and you're gonna just add one more finger. You're gonna take your first finger and you're gonna put it in the first fret on the second string, right down here. And that's why you want to use your second finger whenever you play A minor, is because you could use your first finger and it would still sound the same, but it's a natural switch if you keep your second finger on there, because then you can just like keep that there and place the first finger down, instead of having to move around so much if you used your first finger just for A minor. So those are the chords that I wanted to show you guys. And to do the song Blessed Be Your Name, it's just those 4 chords, and they just repeat over and over again in that order. So at first you're just gonna wanna practice, just do like one strum on each one and just get used to the cycle. So do C, G, A minor, F, C, G, A minor, F. And that just kind of repeats over and over again. And as you get faster, you might want to add in more strums. So do like 4 strums per chord. So do like C, 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 G, 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 A minor, A minor, A minor, A minor, F, 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 F. And just kind of work up your speed. And you can get into more complex strumming patterns as you practice, but for right now, it's better to focus on switching between the chords and not worry too much about what you're doing with your right hand. You just really want to make sure that you're hitting all 4 strings whenever you strum, and just work on getting it to sound even so that like all the strums sound the same. So I'm just gonna play through the song now to show you guys what it's gonna sound like. All right, so here's the song all the way through. So if you need to go back at any point and relearn the chords and just kind of help you remember, just do that as often as you can, and then work on, working through the progression until you get to the point where you can sing along with it. But here's what the song is gonna sound like. learning the ukulele. It's a really fun instrument. So send in pictures and videos of yourself playing to camp@campcrosspoint.org because we'd love to see you guys participating. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!